Welcome to our first episode of Keeping Coop in the Loop, Cooper City's official podcast to help keep the great people of Someplace Special informed about key happenings and events. I'm Mike Cabello, Director of Communications and Public Information Officer for Cooper City. Whether you found this podcast by reading a newsletter, visiting the city website, or maybe even the social media pages, perhaps you even downloaded it from your favorite spot for podcasts, we really thank you for listening. Each month, you can expect a podcast featuring conversations that touch on a variety of topics that interest Cooper City residents and stakeholders for that matter. We're going to be striving to bring information that is timely and helpful while also looking to deliver it in an entertaining way. You can also expect to learn about those doing business in Cooper City. And we thought this would be the perfect opportunity to invite a business owner whose location has garnered plenty of interest as he gets ready to welcome customers with a soft opening during the weekend of May 23rd. And now he's looking forward to a grand opening that he's setting for June 19th, where he expects all vendors inside the supermarket to be up and running. And joining us today is Nick Gonzalez. Many have probably driven right by Sheridan and Hiatus, seen the supermarket, Flamingo Supermarket, the logo is up on the wall, but you might be wondering, what's coming, what's ahead. So we really have the pleasure to be joined by Nick Gonzalez, who's taken some time to talk today a little bit about the business. And really, first off, Nick, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself in a sense, your experience with the supermarket business. We had a little bit of a chance. We're actually recording this inside of the store. Just a little background on yourself and what you're looking to bring toward Cooper City.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you, Michael, and everyone from Cooper City for allowing me the opportunity to speak and let you guys know a little bit about myself and about my vision of the supermarket. Mm-hmm. So let's go about myself real quick. Basically, we are a family-owned business. We are grocers, and we are always been grocers since 1977. The story really does not start with me. The story actually starts with my father. My father came over from Cuba when he was I think he was like 11 years old. And right from Cuba, he went to Newark, New Jersey. And the first day he was there, basically, my grandmother said, listen, you need to go to the corner store and go get us some milk and eggs. So he was walking to the corner store, and this corner store was closed. So he walks back home, and then he goes, Mom, this corner store is closed. And she goes, well, go to the big store. So he went up to the big store, and he bought his milk and eggs and some bread, came home. Years pass. He started working in high school in a supermarket as a bagger, and then from every department worked his way up to becoming the manager of the store. By then, it was the late 70s. I want to say, actually no, it was early 70s, I'm sorry. And my uncles were salespeople for Goya Foods, mm-hmm. and they want to expand. So he had gotten the opportunity, right, to buy into the supermarkets. The store that he purchased was actually the first store that he ever had stepped foot in the United States. So honestly, it's really much like the American dream. Well, that my father was part of the American dream. He really didn't have much money as he was a store owner, so we were stuck in the store every day, no matter playing with cans instead of playing with Legos and learning the business. Everyone in my family is in the supermarket business. We're here. We've always been together, and that's really it, man.
So overall, Nick, when folks are driving by, they have an idea, okay, a supermarket's coming. What's the idea? Is it to bring, the typical kind of your main thought of what a supermarket is, or a little more? Coming back from, you have experience from Jersey where you've come from. What ideas are you looking to bring forward?
Honestly, I want the store to be an experience. I don't want it to be a regular grocery store, your typical grocery store. I want you to come in, and I want you to be able to enjoy different types of food in different, from different areas. Obviously, I would like for you guys to pick up a piece of produce, a package of meat, maybe a can or two, but you can really do that anywhere. That's not what I really want. I want you guys to be able to come in and maybe grab a smoothie from the smoothie bar, or get some tacos from our taco stand. Maybe have a fresh pizza made from you, or eat some fresh pasta that's being made right in front of you. Those are really the things that I'm looking for. I have different kiosks set up in the store, which all have different ideas, and they're, well, let me give you an example. One of them is a bakery that came from Venezuela, and they're sitting there, they're making fresh bread right in front of you. You'll be looking at them while they're making the fresh bread. It's coming out every couple hours, hot, and it doesn't get better than that. Right. That's kind of what I'm looking for the city. I know that the city will, as a customer, because I'm also a customer, I'm just not an owner, but as a customer, you kind of sit there, you're like, I like coming to this store, and that's okay, and I understand that, but I want you to be able to come to my store and say, I could sit down and watch the game and maybe have a steak or a couple tacos while my wife goes shopping, and if the kids want, they could go and they could buy some candy from, we sell candy by the bins. We have chocolate strawberries, or they could just kind of, hang out with you and watch TV. We have different areas for food. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm looking for.
So overall, Cooper City is a place where people come to raise a family. This is absolutely an experience. That's what you're aiming for, that you're not just coming here, check the things off the shopping list, get out. You're hoping you come here, you enjoy your time, you pick something to eat. Not only that you're going to take home and cook eventually, but actually come in and eat something here.
100%. 100%. This is definitely a store that's set up for a family.
I was looking around the different spots, like you're going to have a taco spot, a pizza spot. You talked about bread being baked in-house right here in front of you. Anything that you bring, and you talked about the sandwiches, the difference of what you could get in some spots versus what you expect to get here. Not to give away all the secrets in a sense, but that little bit of what if you were in the Northeast, and say, we know we have a lot of folks that have moved from the Northeast down here to South Florida, just a little taste of home, something that they can expect.
Well, absolutely. I'll give you two things. One, I was a 420-pound guy. I love food, so I'm a foodie and a half. And coming from the Northeast, although you guys have Cuban food and all that stuff, we got Italian pizzas and we got the best bread, and I'm sorry to say it, but it's the truth, and the best deli sandwiches. So I'm going to try to bring that down here. I'm going to try to give them a 3/4 pound of a deli sandwich like what we're used to up there. I'm going to try to give them the bread that's actually from up there we're bringing down here, that has that crunch to it. Yeah. I'm bringing what I'm used to from Jersey and New York down to Florida. Not to say you guys don't have wonderful stuff here. I live in Florida. I love Florida. I love the food, but there's certain things, man, that there's it's from the Northeast.
Well, and I can say this, you don't have to buy a plane ticket to go taste some of the food that's up there. You're looking to just bring it right here to right next
100%.
door. I'm sure a lot of folks will be looking forward to that. And with that, there's a lot of residents that are looking forward to the doors opening and having the opportunity to enjoy what you're going to have to offer. Some folks are, and I'm sure I'm speaking for those questions. We see them on social media, wondering, they're waiting for those doors to open. In terms, if you're willing to share them, in terms of just some of the little obstacles. I think we talked a little before. You said, this has been a pursuit for you since the COVID time. There's been things that are absolutely out of your control that you're trying to work your way through to finally get there to the finish line. Just some of the things that have gotten in the way.
Yes, we definitely did speak about it. This store, listen, I know the town wants me to open. People come in every day like, hey, when are you opening? When are you opening? Believe me. I'm sitting here with chills. I want to open. I want to open like you guys can't believe. But we've had a ton of obstacles. And I'm sure everyone has. Although COVID's over, we all went through COVID, and we couldn't get employees to work at first, and we couldn't get things done. And then when COVID was, when it was over, it was like, okay, doors are open, back to work. Well, what about all those months that people weren't working? How did you get parts? We were waiting 22 months for a switchboard to have the air conditioning systems turned on. That's a long time.
And you're talking specific to this location.
This location.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this location. And then, we had a mishap in the air conditioning system where, one of the modules just it was defective and it broke, and then we come back after the store's all basically ready and set up to find that the whole store's ceiling is on the floor, and it was 3 inches of water around, all because of humidity, because there was not the humidity control module just was defective. To get the store back to where it was, it took another 9-10 months. Yes, it's there's been a lot of obstacles, to say the least.
Yeah.
But we're almost there. We're almost there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, having an opportunity, and I'm sure people are going to be wondering, well, why don't we want to see some photos, some things, and I'm sure the folks will eventually get that. You're in the midst of really putting it together. There's all different kinds of kiosks. You can see where the deli's going to go. I just wanted to get your idea, because the other thing people will say is, as a business owner, you're getting permits, all these things. In terms of the experience of working with the city, the people that are trying to help you get to that finish line, anything you want to share about the individuals, especially, the building department, community development, the support you've gotten?
Well, let me tell you, I've opened at least, I'd say, close to 20 supermarkets, close to 20 locations, and I've actually opened 2 gyms. And I've never had an experience like this with any city. You guys are amazing. Everyone is very willing to help. Everyone's willing to go the extra mile. I mean, I've called people on, not during work hours, late at night, like, hey, listen, I have this, could I do this, or how can you help me, or whatever, and everyone really has helped me. If you are a person who's thinking of opening a business in Cooper City and has had bad experiences like we've all had in other cities, I would definitely tell you guys, give them a chance, without a doubt. Their city staff is amazing.
No, and we thank you at the same time for looking to open a spot that I think a lot of people look at the supermarket that you have coming as an anchor for the shopping center. The shopping center, I mean, it's traversed. Sheridan Street has people coming and going from West Broward all the way towards the east. So you're going to have traffic, kind of stepping away from the supermarket itself. You've talked about challenges, obstacles, being a business owner. For somebody that's looking to start a small business, mom and pop, any advice that you would give when you're just starting out and you feel like those headwinds hitting you and you're like, no, keep pushing forward. A little bit of advice you would give.
That was actually what I was going to tell you. Just know that at the end, wherever your goal might be, just keep moving towards it. It doesn't matter if you step 5 steps forward and then all of a sudden you slide back 4 steps. Well, you actually made 1 step forward. Just keep going forward and keep going forward if that's something that you really want.
Yeah. So overall, Nick, really appreciate you taking the time to allow us to come in here, have an idea, look at it, and at the same time ask questions. Some of the questions that some of the folks in the community. Again, this is Nick Gonzalez, the owner of Flamingo Supermarket. He and his family working towards opening the doors. And again, thank you so much, Nick, for taking the time.
No, thank you.
There are so many things that make Cooper City special and unique, and I don't need to tell that to those who are listening, those who live here. There's no doubt that Nick and families like his who open their doors to customers here in Cooper City are a major part of building this great community atmosphere. We really look forward to Flamingo Supermarket opening their doors soon, and all of us in Cooper City really wish them all the best, and we really can't wait to see folks going inside the supermarket and enjoying everything they have to offer. While we can all agree that there's been a long road for Nick getting his business ready to open, I wanted to turn attention on this portion of the podcast now to a roadway that will see a vital project taking place underneath it, if you will. This all centers around a culvert that needs replacement. All right, so joining us here today, we have Mike Wills with the Corradino Group and Akin Ozaydin, who is our city's utilities director and also city engineer. They're going to be able to help us understand a little bit about the culvert project that's going to be coming up here in the city of Cooper City. And the culvert we're talking about is the one on 49th Street for our residents. This is really in the Flamingo, just east of the Flamingo Townhomes as you're heading towards Bill Lipp's Sports Complex. So first off, Mike, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, what you do over with the Corradino Group.
Hello, Mike. I'm Mike Wills. I'm an engineer with the Corradino Group, specializing in stormwater and hydraulics. We basically deal with roadway projects involving stormwater flooding and also, canal projects like this one.
I can also wanted to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. You just joined the city team not too long ago, coming on as our utilities director. So just want to give you a chance to introduce yourself to our residents and all those listening.
Thank you so much, Mike. My name is Akin Ozaydin. I am the new utilities director as well as the city engineer. I have been working for government agencies more than 18 years, and I work as a deputy public service director and city engineer for the Dania Beach, and before that, city of North Miami for the city engineer, and Oakland Park for the civil engineer and the city engineer, and now and then before that, Broward County as well. And I'm now in Cooper City, and I'm responsible for the project for water, sewer, drainage, as well as utilities, wastewater, water plant, and also public works, roads and trees and everything else.
I can thank you again for sharing a little bit on your background and your experience. So we'll jump right into the questions because obviously we want to give residents a heads up on what's coming. Mike, this question is really for you in terms of being able to explain. Some people may have not even ever heard of the word or the term culvert. Just to give a little background, can you explain what a culvert is and why is it important to our city's infrastructure and making sure that, our culverts are up to standard and what needs to be put in place?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that most people have probably seen them, driven right past them, right over them, and not thought much about it. But a culvert is built when a roadway needs to cross over top of a canal. Sometimes they'll use a bridge, but a culvert is essentially just a large pipe or a concrete tunnel that runs underneath the roadway and allows the canal to just pass through that pipe and continue on to the other side. They're pretty critical to keeping canals moving. We have a lot of roads here that we can't just avoid the canals. So crossings are important, but they're essentially pinch points in a canal where the canal, you see it, it's wide, there's a lot of water in it. Now it needs to squeeze through these culverts, these tunnels, and you need to pay careful attention to how they're designed so that you're not bottlenecking the flow of water, and that we can get all of the water from the west out to the ocean where it belongs without impacting anybody along the way.
Mike, why was it necessary or is it going to be necessary to replace that culvert? What issues are going to be addressed?
Well, from what we've seen, it is necessary. The culvert is reaching the end of its lifespan. It's a steel culvert, so essentially it's like you'd see any other drainage pipe, except that this one is 15 foot in diameter, made of steel, and it's been out there for quite a while. These typically only are meant to last for a few decades, and the inspections that we've done on it indicate, there's some corrosion, some rusting of the pipe just from being out there in the water and the soil for so long. And in addition, there's the roadway running over top of it. It's had decades of traffic going over the top of it, and it's starting to stress out the pipe. So it's reaching the end of its natural life, and replacing it is just kind of standard practice at this point.
And Mike, really, the other question I wanted to touch on, expected benefits of replacing the culvert. Are there certain things that it's not doing the best it can right now that once it is replaced, maybe to the eye you can't see it, but things that, the city will benefit from this being replaced?
I think the important things are going to be that this is a pure steel culvert. Material has come a long way since this was put in, so I believe that any alternatives, be it galvanized steel, aluminum, whatever material the replacement culvert's made of, is going to likely see a longer service life than the previous one. And in addition, there's going to be the road is going to be replaced over top of it, so there's going to be some aesthetic changes. It'll be pretty obvious to people driving through that it's a newly surfaced road, possibly some improvements going along with that. And then yeah, the culvert is going to last a bit longer than the previous one.
And thanks, Mike, for all the info. This is where I'll kind of shift it over to Akin on the city side, because folks are probably going to be wondering, okay, when is this project looking to be started? And then at the same time, how long is it expected to take? So Akin, I wanted to check with you and see, any information that you'd be able to provide in terms of the timetable, what we're looking at.
Absolutely, Mike. Right now, it is on 60% design. And so basically, we are going to have, I believe, that 100% design within few months, but we have to go through the permitting agencies as well. And this is going to be a design build type of a project. It's a little bit different. When it comes to the timeline, as far as I know, once we complete the design, we will have a better idea of how long would it take. But I would say that this would take from 6 months to a year. It depends on the complexity, because right now it's only 60% design. And I had some comments to the design consultants. So they are going to address it, and they are going to apply for a permitting. So I believe that this year we will complete the design and permitting stage of it, and then we're gonna basically start the construction. But we don't have any concrete dates yet, because we don't have the basically approval from the cities and counties, and also the state's approval agencies.
And again, is it fair to say that when this project takes place, considering that it's a culvert, folks have to travel to and from one section, is this going to be completely shut down while this project is taking place? People will have to look for an alternative, I guess if you wanted to call it an alternative route.
It is possible. We try our best not to close the roadway and looking for alternative, but it is possible. That's the first stage that we try to do, that if we can complete the maintenance of traffic for a closing a one lane, but if it is not possible, and then we're gonna have to shut down that roadway to find an alternative way. But again, that we're gonna try our best to not to close the roadway.
And then, obviously this has a lot to do with moving water. And obviously here in South Florida, that's obviously a big deal. That's why you have culverts. Akin, is there, when it comes to sustainability and looking ahead towards the future and how we have to continue moving the water from one, as Mike had mentioned, are there any sustainability measures that are implemented in the project, or things that go beyond, when it looks at where we're going in the future, whether, we know there's all kinds of different opinions, discussions about sea level rise. How does that factor into this project?
Mike, this project is, as you know, that on Southwest 49th Street, between Southwest 120th Avenue and 122nd Avenue. And the pipe is corroded and it's not working the way it should. So we are not doing the drainage the way that it should. So it's going to drain properly. That's number one. And over the years, as you know, that the pipe is corroded. And this is one of those things that we are going to do a better design. And the pipe material is going to be, basically, pipe is going to be better. And it's going to drain better. So when it is drained better, and it's going to be the same location, but we are going to use design that is going to be better in a way that's going to work properly. So it's going to help our residents when it comes to flooding. But we are not changing any elevations or anything like that. So it's not going to be different, but it's going to drain better because the pipe was very old and corroded.
Thanks, Akin. And so, Mike, I wanted to bring you back in for a quick question. In terms of the canal itself, where this culvert services is, what drainage does it actually deal with? Is it one of the main roadways around this? I wanted to give residents just an idea of, that canal, what it does and how vital it is to helping with stormwater or anything that could affect folks if it wasn't there.
The canal is part of the South Florida Water Management District canal system. So essentially, this is one of the local canals that are going to connect to the larger canals that you'll see. The purpose of these local canals is to collect the discharge from the areas around it, from the neighborhoods, from the city centers, and to bring that into larger canals that are controlled by the South Florida Water Management District. And then they have various structures, gates, and facilities along it so that they monitor those levels during large storms and control the amount of water that's able to flow out of them into the ocean, controlling freshwater flows going into the ocean that could harm sea life, as well as making sure that those are open during severe events so that the entire area to the west is able to drain properly.
Mike, thanks for providing a little more info on the waterway and between the both of you, thank you so much for the info. Obviously, this is a project that, as Akin mentioned, is in the design phase, if you will. Still some months to go before we even get to anywhere where there's going to be construction, but the city obviously will be providing more info as we get closer. But really appreciate you guys coming on and giving some information to give folks an insight onto what it is and why it's there and the improvements that are going to be coming. So, Mike, Akin, thank you for spending some time and giving your information. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
In looking ahead to future podcasts, you can expect information on several other projects in the pipeline. I'll be looking to pull the curtains back, in a sense, and give you the details on work going on to improve infrastructure in Cooper City and the pursuit of grant funding that aims to complement and accelerate these projects. Folks, we hope you've enjoyed this inaugural episode of Keeping Coop in the Loop. It's just the start. We hope you listen in again next month. You can find this podcast on the city website, on the city's YouTube channel, or wherever you download your favorite podcasts. As a reminder, you can follow Cooper City on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I also encourage you to sign up for our weekly e-newsletters. If you've never signed up for them, you can find a link very easy on our homepage, coopercity.gov. Underneath the Residents tab, you'll find a link to sign up for the e-newsletters. It's sent out every week, always includes whatever timely or things that are happening in the city, whether it's happenings, news, events as well. And we always have a section on activities for the young ones as well as anything coming up on the active adult calendar. For now, I'm Mike Cavello on behalf of Cooper City. I really thank you for listening in as we continue and look forward to keeping Coop in the loop.